Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the Daily Deuce. I'm John Webster. I'll be your host today. Have a special guest host in here again this week. We have the one, the only Henry Discombobulating Jones, my man HJ. How you doing, man? What's going on?
We're ready to do it, so let's step to it. Man, I'm always truly blessed and highly favored every day that I wake up, thank God. So appreciate you having me on again.
Man, it's our pleasure to have you on, man. We're going to talk some sports and then we're going to wrap it up with probably your favorite sport, boxing. We'll get to it in a
Absolutely.
second, but I think there may be something interesting coming down the pike.
You know this man.
So, first and foremost, let's talk about the NFL East,
Okay.
NFC East.
Okay.
We had some interesting games this week. You had the Eagles and the Browns. The Eagles barely got by the Cleveland Browns. These are not your Eagles from last season, early on, and definitely aren't your Eagles from the Super Bowl season. What's going on with them, man? What's happening with them?
I think that Coach Sirianni might be on the hot seat and might be on his way out. The troops aren't rallying around him. And if you lose confidence in the coach, that's the season right there. So they're just going through the motions right now. I don't see that fire that I usually see from Philadelphia Eagles. And I go up to Philadelphia to announce fights, and those fans up there, let's just say, like Kendrick Lamar says, they not like us. They different.
Yeah,
So,
at the last game, Sirianni seemed to be arguing with his hometown fans. What's that about?
that's right. You turn on the fans, it's like signing a death certificate, man. You know, you got to win the crowd, and he's
Mhm.
definitely not winning the crowd. So I think Jeff Lurie, owner, is probably gonna have to make some in-season adjustments.
Now, you say in-season adjustments. How deep are you going with an in-season adjustment, HJ?
Well, you got to start at the top, and that's that coach, man. You know, don't be surprised if Bill Belichick goes over there.
Now, I'll say two things to you. One, you think Laurie would pull the trigger in the middle of the season? Do you think that would happen?
I do. He pulled the trigger when he put Nick Folks in place of the quarterback they had, and they end up winning the Super Bowl. So ends justify the means.
Follow-up question. You mentioned the one, the only, Bill Belichick.
Hmm.
Do you think he would take a job in mid-season?
Yeah, I do. You know, he's done it all, so this would just be another challenge for him. And it's not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. So he's not going there with also Rands and somebody that's playing out the season for a high draft pick. He's going there with some talent at key positions.
Okay. All right. Now let's look at the next one. The
Hmm.
Giants and the Bengals. Now that was quite a sleeper the other night. That wasn't a lot of excitement going on with it. Bengals won 17-7. What's your take on those Giants, man? Will they get out of the stupor? Are they going to stay in the basement, NFC East? What's going on with them?
I remember one coach said, or a reporter asked him about his team. He said, "What do you think about their execution?" He said, "I'm all for it." And that's what I think about the Giants. I'm all for it. They got to do something. They made a crucial error in letting Saquon Barkley go, especially to a division rival. Why would you do that? So that kind of demoralized the team. And Danny Dimes at quarterback is not the answer by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sorry. You
Do,
know,
do,
so
do your dimes count as interceptions?
yeah, and it's worth six.
So what you see with them, they're going to stay where they are. They're not going to improve. It's going to be a rough season for the G-men.
They tanking. They tanking. They
Now,
tanking.
that's a strong word, man. You say they're tanking. That
They
means
tank.
they're losing intentionally. And what are they trying to get?
I think I might go for Travis Hunter or Shador Stevens. Shador Sanders.
Now, I'll leave you with this thought. Those are very good players that you mentioned, but there's a guy in Colorado by the name of Deion Sanders. Is he going to let that happen where they go to the Giants?
If they're the number one pick, yeah.
Because he says Deion says there's only 4 or 5 teams he wants those two kids to go to. He basically, what I see, he's trying to do similar to what the Mannings did with Eli Manning when Manning got drafted by the San Diego Chargers and he ended up in New York with the Giants. I think he's
Yeah.
trying to do the same strategy. I just don't know if it'll work. What do you think?
Um, yeah, that was another era. I don't know if he has that kind of leverage now.
Hmm.
And certainly, let's just call it like it is. Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders don't have that pigmentation either. Okay. Okay, let's just keep it a buck, as the young people say. 100. That's right. So, but they'll do very well and they'll get drafted highly.
All right, well, we'll see. Now, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to get drafted highly. They're both
Yeah,
very, very good players.
yeah.
Where they end up is going to be a whole nother story. So we're going to see. We will see.
Okay.
Now, the third game in NFC East. My, oh my, have the strong fallen. The Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. Has the game ended? Has Detroit stopped scoring yet?
Oh my goodness. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer owner, Jerry Jones, on his 82nd birthday. Oh, that's traumatizing. He's never gonna forget that. At home too? Come
It
on,
says,
man.
it says the worst loss he's ever had.
That's bad. That's bad. They're gonna have to do some things. Uh, I think Dak is still an answer, but not necessarily for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
the number one player to me is CeeDee Lamb. That's the superstar. But I don't see them going anywhere. It's just
Well,
be a long season. It's gonna be a long season.
hindsight's always 2020, and
Sure.
Dallas had an opportunity in the offseason, if I'm not mistaken, to address their running game and maybe get Derrick Henry. And
Mm-hmm.
they did, and they got Ezekiel Elliott. And
Again. Yeah.
Zeke is not what he used to be. He still goes out there and gives you 100%. He blocks very well. He can catch a couple passes out the backfield, but he's not that running back he used to be.
No.
Um,
Well, your wife and mine would say we're not the men we used to be either.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
still functional.
you got a
He's not
point there.
functional. He's not.
But
He's just collecting a paycheck at this point, man. And I don't see the fire. He used to run through people. At one point he could run away from people. Then he started running through people. Now he's finding the soft spot on the turf to land.
he doesn't have the same breakaway speed. I don't think
Nah,
he has the same
nah.
strength.
Mm-mm.
And I don't, like I said earlier, still plays hard. He just is, you know, old man time never loses, HJ.
Ever. And Mother Nature's undefeated too.
Yeah, so it goes without saying it's rough. Now, also in Dallas, they got some injuries with Micah Parsons and Dexter Lawrence. That's hurting them as well. Um,
Well, the key to that defense was the guy that set the record for interceptions last year, Deron Bland.
Rambling. I think he broke his leg. I
That's what
think,
I'm saying.
yeah.
No,
You
he was a
still,
shut down type guy,
yeah,
and they don't
and
have that anymore. So nobody fears them.
yeah, and I'm not sure when he comes back. I know Diggs is on the other side. Diggs was like an interception machine a couple years
He
ago.
was. So he
Um,
got hurt. That's
yeah,
right.
well, they're struggling. I heard somebody mention about, um, like you said, with Sirianni. And I don't think McCarthy, you're moving McCarthy in the middle of the season. I don't think that's going to really make Dallas that much better. I think
Well,
they have a situation where they just they
no,
aren't what they used to be. They're struggling.
they're not.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The hometown team,
Mm.
the one, the
Mm.
only
Mm.
Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
They went
Yeah.
up. They went up the Beltway.
Yeah.
They played the Baltimore Ravens. They played
Yeah.
them tough, but they came up short, 30-23.
No shame in that at all. And it could have went the other way. You know, I said before the season started that Baltimore could very well end up in New Orleans in the Super Bowl. They've been knocking on the door, several years in a row now. And Lamar Jackson has become more and more comfortable in that position, and they're putting more talent around him. And of course, as you alluded to earlier, Derrick Henry makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, he's
So Jaden Daniels saw a mirror image of himself um, in a more veteran version of it. And I think the Commanders going to be all right, though. I think they could very well make the playoffs.
yeah. I think they have to keep progressing.
Yes.
I think a key thing for them is this week when they play the Carolina Panthers. I think we'll find out what type of Commanders team we have.
Yeah. Is that here or away?
That is playing right up here over in Landover.
Okay. That's a trap game. Got to be real
Exactly.
careful. They got to be careful
Exactly. And
about
that's
that.
why they need to be ready
Yeah.
because they need to bounce back from that loss and
That's
take
right.
out all their anger on
That's,
Carolina and beat them.
that's right.
But if they don't show up to play
Mm-hmm.
Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
we could be right back where we've been with this Commanders team and like, man, come on, you can't lose games like this.
That's exactly right. No, they got to run up. They got to run the score up for real.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that Commanders team, I thought on offense this whole season, Jaden Daniels has been playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest concern is him running out of the pocket a lot. I get concerned that he may get hurt. That's just my personal concern.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as a team on that offensive side, they played well. They showed some different things. I love Terry McLaurin. One of the things they didn't have was Brian Robinson. I also love Brian Robinson in that
Mm-hmm.
back. But I think a good when you have Robinson healthy and you got a good third down back like Eckler, that
Mm-hmm.
that really helps. That helps. Um, I like Ertz at tight end,
Mm-hmm.
but on that defensive side, and you can't fix everything in one off season.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need help on defense. The Commanders are.
Especially in the defensive backfield. That's right.
Yeah, people are coming pretty hard on the kid St. Juice,
Yeah.
number 25. But you
Yeah.
got to keep in mind he is a nickel back. He's a number three cornerback. He's
Mm-hmm.
giving it all he's got, but he's not a one or a two. And
That's right.
then the other thing you got the kid that you drafted, Forbes.
Yeah.
He's not ready to get on the field for whatever reason. So they gotta work a little bit to get to the next level. To
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I said, they need some more defensive backs. That's and I'm no football person. Adam Peters is the GM. He knows it better than me. But from what I see from the outside looking in, you need some more defensive backs, man.
That's right. You're
So
right. No
that,
doubt
that
about it.
that's
But
what I
they'll
see.
be all right. They'll be all right.
But they got to beat Carolina Sunday. They
Yeah.
got to beat Carolina Sunday. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. Now, going on to the next level of football, NCAA. I don't know if it's a level down or a level up the way the NCAA is now with the NIL money and everything. But you had a couple interesting games on Saturday. You had Oregon State holding on and beating Ohio State. And then you had Alabama holding on and beating South Carolina, man. What do you think about those two games, man?
Oh, as you said, with transfer portal and the NIL, players are changing teams and making the best deals for themselves and making teams stronger. That's
Hmm.
what Sanders did, at Colorado. So,
Hmm.
I certainly don't begrudge anybody, that goes and makes a good deal for themselves and their family. And that's what the Oregon players have done to become a powerhouse. They beat somebody that's the standard. Ohio State every year. Ohio State is the standard, along with
Hmm.
Michigan, some other team.
Hmm.
So now I think they put themselves firmly in contention for one of those bowl playoffs. The four. That's
Mm-hmm.
like the top four. That's where the money is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Top
Mm-hmm.
four getting to the championship. So we'll see how they progress. But again, now they can't become complacent after that big victory either.
Yeah.
They got to keep that metal on the pedal on the metal.
Now, keep in mind, HJ, this year is the first year the playoffs have been expanded, so you're going with the top 12 teams.
Top
So
12. Wow. I
you're
don't know
going
if
with
I
top
keep
12.
up with all that, man. Yeah, I don't know about all that. More,
Now,
more money, more money.
yeah, so you're going with 12. Um, you got some big games this week with Alabama going against Tennessee.
Where they playing?
Tennessee.
Mm,
Alabama loses, as far as I'm concerned, they're out of it.
it's over with. I do like that quarterback, Jalen Milrow, though.
Nothing but the truth.
Yeah,
He's a
it's true.
great quarterback. But that
Yeah.
Alabama team is not your same Alabama team. I
No, it's not.
always say to people, like with a Nick Saban or Mike Krzyzewski or coaches like that, you don't want to be the coach to follow them. You want to be the coach to follow the coach that follow them.
That's right.
Because think about this, HJ. Think about this. Alabama could go 10-2 this year, and everybody in Tuscaloosa gonna be mad.
That's true. That's right. That's right. That's
Do you
not
know
the
how many
standard.
people? You know how many people want to go 10-2?
A lot. A lot. I announced in Tuscaloosa one night, and man, I didn't realize the university is the whole city
Yeah.
from one end to the other. I was like, look at this. So I
Hmm.
understand, yeah, what they're used to. That's
Yeah.
right.
They don't care about the NFL. Their
No, they don't.
football is on Saturday night, Saturday afternoon.
That's right.
And then you're looking at another big game this week. Georgia is going to Texas. Texas is the
Mm,
one ranked team in the country, playing good ball. And with these expansions in these conferences, you're getting some unbelievable matchups now. Like you're
yeah,
getting Texas and Georgia. They're both in the SEC now. It wouldn't
yeah,
have happened before.
that's true.
Now, here's the thing I'll say. Same thing I said for Alabama. Georgia loses, Georgia's out of it.
They'll get a high paying bowl game.
They'll get a
They will.
bowl game, but they won't get into the playoff.
I can go for that. Then if that's the case, then that's what's gonna happen because Texas Longhorns got it going on. They do. I like the first string quarterback Quinn Ewers,
Yep, yep.
but then they brought in Archie Manning's son, Arch Manning, and he looks like he could be the next one.
Yeah, that's the grandson. That's Archie's grandson.
Grandson. Wow.
That's Arch.
Arch
That's
Manning.
Arch,
Okay.
and he's a bad
Okay.
mamma jamma too.
Yes, he is. So that's a two-headed monster there. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with Texas. I'm gonna go with Texas.
Well, it's gonna be interesting, man.
Yeah.
Let's go locally for a second.
Okay.
The team I have on my today,
Yeah.
Maryland.
Yeah.
What do you think, man? I really want the guy Loxley to be successful, but it's a tough call. It's a tough ask for him to be successful in
Yeah.
Big Ten. And what do you think?
And I know Loxley well. Matter of fact, Loxley's a big boxing fan,
Hmm.
and we're supposed to collaborate on something big at Cole Fieldhouse real soon. So I'll definitely keep you posted on that. Um,
You want to make an announcement right now?
no, the ink hasn't dried up yet. You understand? But Locks, he's doing well with what he has. Let's put it that way. Um, a lot of guys are green. The quarterback Billy Edwards is trying to come into his own, but he's no. Um, I can't pronounce the name. Tagalua.
Yeah, two. Yeah, yeah,
He's not him.
yeah.
So he's got to play to Billy Edwards' strength, and he's a decent passer. He's a better runner.
Hmm.
He's tall. He's about 6'4", 6'5", too. So they're gonna have to play to his strengths. I like the wide receiver Ty Felton.
Hmm.
I think he's a high draft choice coming up. Um, but the defense going to have to step up. I think they think they're better than what they are, and they're not. I went out to one game earlier. I follow them every week. They shouldn't have lost at home last Friday night against Northwestern. Shouldn't have
Yeah,
lost at home. You got to
yeah.
win at home. You got to win at home.
You
Okay.
got to win at home, and you got to win against Northwestern.
And you got to win against Northwestern. So,
You
you
know,
know,
the thing that I look at with them, HJ, I know why it happened. I know why they moved to the Big Ten. I totally get it. It's finances.
sure.
But I just think Maryland, from all sports, not just football, basketball too, they are more equipped for the ACC. And if the money and the ACC network had come along sooner, like the Big Ten had a network and they gave Maryland money and everything, like they give everybody else revenue sharing,
Hmm.
maybe Maryland could have stayed. Because I think Maryland in the ACC in football, Loxley's winning 7 and 8 games every year.
Easily.
He's
Yeah.
going to a bowl game and they're getting ready to name a building after him.
Is that right?
I'm saying if he's in the ACC,
Oh, sure.
if
Okay.
he's in the ACC, but
Right.
playing in the Big Ten,
Yeah.
you got Michigan on your schedule every year, you got Ohio State on your schedule every year, you got Penn State on your schedule every year, you got Wisconsin, Michigan State. That's 5 rough games right there.
It is. If you can go 3-2 in those games, it's a successful season.
Yeah. And you're scrambling every year to win six to be bowl eligible.
That's right.
If he's in the ACC, I just think he's 7 or 8 wins every year, and some years 9 and 10. I just
Yeah.
think, but again, I have to stress, I understand why they are not
The
in the ACC.
bottom line is the bottom line, huh?
Yeah, I totally get it.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about something that's near and dear to your heart.
Uh-oh.
Let's talk about boxing.
Uh-oh.
On December 14th, they have a little fight coming up between two gentlemen by the name of Lamont Roach and
Junior.
Javante Davis.
Sure.
Talk
Sure.
to me about it, man. Talk to me about it.
Well, first things first, we disappointed that they taken that fight to Houston.
Okay.
It should have been downtown at Capital One Arena. From what I found out, though, uh, there was a big investor out of Houston that made that fight go there by the name of Jay Prince.
Mhm.
Okay. And one of the Charlo brothers who's from Houston, is on that card. And the third thing, and then this might be the most important, is uh, it doesn't have any state taxes, unlike the District of Columbia. So again, bottom line is the bottom line. They're trying to maximize their revenue. Now, as far as the two fighters are concerned, um, they've known each other since they were teenagers. They fought as amateurs before, so
Right.
it's no
Mhm.
secret, you know. However, the progression has been different. Javante Tank Davis, arguably, is the number one fighter in the world. He
Mhm.
sells out arenas. He
Mhm.
has that one hitter quitter, as we say,
Mhm.
a la Mike Tyson. So people want to come out to see him finish fights. Lamont Roach Jr. Has become a master boxer. He's gotten
Mhm.
bigger, gotten stronger, so he's going to have to use all of that to keep Tank off him, outbox him. Now, Tank gets outboxed early in most of his fights to figure you out. People don't understand about Tank, and I've been knowing he and Roach, since they were teenagers. I've been around Tank more than Roach. Tank has a high IQ.
Mhm.
He allows you to win rounds to see what you got. And then when you make one mistake, he has that, as Roy Jones had, them fast twitch muscles
Mhm.
and counter you. And it's usually good night Irene after that. So it's gonna be a chess match. It's gonna be
Now,
a chess match.
with that being said, do you think Roach can match up with him? Do you think he can hang in there with him?
Anything can happen. Sure.
Okay.
Sure I do. And it's gonna have to. Otherwise it's gonna be an early night.
Is
So he's
this one of these
gonna
fights
run.
where styles make the fight? Is this like
Styles,
one?
Styles make fights. He's gonna have to use all his boxing ability, frustrate Tank, and that's what you need to do with a Tank type fighter who's a
Mhm,
pressure fighter looking for that one big punch. You got to keep him at the end of your jab first of all, like a
mhm,
bull in a matador. Keep him off balance.
mhm.
Parry, thrust, turn. You know. Now the question is, can you keep that up for 10, 12 rounds? Is the question. And so we will see. But on that note, though, I'm with Javante Tank Davis Promotions now. There's a gentleman by the name of Al Davis out of Baltimore who's heading up GTD, Javante Tank Davis Promotions, because as you know, he and Ellerby left Mayweather and they're doing their own thing now.
Okay.
So they had their first fight card right down the street from Howard University last month, standing room
Mhm,
only at the Hook Hall venue. So
mhm.
we'll be doing more fights. Next one is in February at the Hamilton Hotel, downtown DC. And
Congratulations to you.
yeah, I appreciate it. So it's happening for me now. Thank God. After 36 years, I kept my faith. I didn't give up. In the last couple of months, I've gotten a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from the White House.
Mhm.
I've got a mayoral proclamation, and most recently, went home to Rochester, New York during my high school 50th year reunion. What you what is this? What is
Key
this?
to the city.
They
Key to the
said
city.
the city don't open nothing, but it's the highest honor you can get.
Man, that's beautiful, man. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. Well
yeah,
deserved.
I
And I
appreciate
can
it.
say, man, I'm glad you're my friend. I'm glad I know you. I've seen all your work and what you've done.
Yeah,
You've been nothing but a class act and
appreciate you saying it.
a wonderful
Thank you, man.
ambassador, not only for the sport of boxing, but you've been an ambassador to many people and many youth in the DMV and across the country.
Thank you. I
I greatly
appreciate that.
appreciate everything you've done, man.
I received that. Thank you so much.
Man, HJ, I can't tell you how much this has meant with having you on the Daily Deuce today.
Thank you,
I'll
brother.
say to you, like I say to everybody else, I don't know where the time goes, man. It
Oh
just
man,
flies. It
that's
just
it.
flies.
It's over with, man.
Man, what can I say, man?
Wow,
It's one of those things. The time flies, but man, promise me you'll come back. Promise
man.
me you'll come.
Promise that you'll have me.
Oh,
That's
we'll
right.
have you back. We'll have you
Thank you,
back,
man.
man. And
Thank you, man.
maybe you can fly me down to Houston and have me sitting somewhere in that arena watching that fight.
Well, actually, we have a fight card that night at Patapsco Arena with Ponytail Promotions. James Hogan is the promoter. It's right outside of Baltimore. And then after
Yep,
that, he's either going to beam it in there or we're going to go down the road of 15 minutes to Maryland Live Casino and watch it for free. So if you're not, doing anything that night, you can come as my guest.
I appreciate you. We're gonna be in touch, man. Definitely.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, for all the news that you can use, and he doesn't say it with looseness. He is John Webster with the Daily Deuceness.
Hey, man, you heard it. You all heard it from the one and only, my dear friend,
Thank you, brother.
the discombobulating Jones.
God
Remember,
bless you. Peace.
watch some sports this week. Watch some football. Watch some basketball. WNBA. Watch some college basketball. NBA is getting ready to start up.
Yeah.
Baseball's going strong. But above all else, just watch some sports, and we're going to see you again real soon.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
brother. Peace.